this video, I'm going to walk through how to use different layers or video layers in a WeVideo to add images, floating images to a clip. So here's my video.
Or not to be.
I've already removed the blue background using the chroma key coloring tool. And what I want to do now is I want to add some images that float up in the air next to my head in the direction of where my fingers are pointing. So the first thing I need to do is find my images. So I'm going to look for Creative Commons images. So we'll go to the Creative Commons website. And I click on that. And then within the website, I'm going to search for images. And I'm going to look for images of bees. So 2 different types of bees. So the first image I'm going to look for is a bee bot image. So I search for it using the search tool. And I find one that looks relevant. Now I want one with not a lot happening in the background. So this one's quite good. So I'm going to save the image. Okay. And then the other thing is I want a picture of a bee. So I'm just going to change that to bee. And again, I'm looking for one that doesn't have a lot happening in the background. So this one's quite good. I could do a cartoon bee. Let's try this one and see what happens. And the reason that I'm looking for images that don't have a lot happening in the background is I want to use a web tool called Remove Background to make the image transparent so that it takes away the background and just keeps the focus of the image. So I'm going to go to that website, which is remove.bg, and you can see it says here upload image. So I'm going to pick the image that I want to upload. So let's go with this Bebot one. I'm going to drag and drop it into the place, into the board, and you can see it's taken the background of the image and just removed it and just left me the main focus, which is the bee. So I'm going to download that one. And I'm going to try the same thing now with just my bee. So I'm going to drag and drop that up. It'll remove the background, hopefully not the bee as well. There we go. You can see now it's taken everything away but the bee, and I'm going to download that image. Next, I'm going to go back into WeVideo. And what I want to do is I want to import these 2 images into my media of WeVideo. So I'm going to use the import tool. And since it's at the bottom here in my download window, I can literally just drag and drop it up in there or like that. Or I would have to go import and look for them on my computer. Once the images import, I'm going to use the video layers to add them onto the screen at different times. So I'm going to, right now I've got a video 1 layer, which is where my main video is. And then I'm going to add these 2 videos on top of that. So I'm going to kind of paste them on top. So I need 2 more layers. I've got video 2. So I'm going to add on another layer by clicking on the plus. I want a video layer, and it's going to be called video 3. And you can see now I have 3 video layers. So now what I want to do is I want to decide where I'm going to put my first image. So probably at about there, I want to have an image of this bee. So I'm going to pause on my the video that I'm working with, on the frame that I'm working with, which is in video 1. I'm going to pause where I want it. I'm going to note it's at 0113. I'm going to pick this one up, drag and drop that down into the frame. I'm going to try and get it to 0113. Now, you can see how once I've popped it on top, it's actually made it the whole screen. So it's covered me. And that's not really what I wanted to do. I want it to appear as a small image in the corner. So before I get the actual placement right, I'm going to resize this clip. So now what I want to do is I want to resize the image of the bee so that it's not covering me in my entirety. So I'm going to double click on my bee clip, and this takes me into a editing window where I can do different things to the clip. So you'll recognize this screen because this is where I can remove backgrounds. But what I want to do is I want to use the transform tool. So this first tool over here. And there's an option here called scale. So this actually changes the size of the image. So if I scale it right down, I can make it super tiny. Or if I scale it right up, I can make it really, really, really big. So I want to find a size that I'm happy with. So I think that's pretty good. And you can see it's resized the image to the appropriate size. Maybe I'll make it just that tiny bit smaller. Then what I can do, and you can see the image is active or selected because of this square around it, I can move it. So right now it's right in the center of the frame or in the center of the screen, but I actually want to pick it up, drag, and move it over here so that it sits, so it's floating in the air next to my head and in the direction of my finger. So you can see my finger creates almost a vector that points up to the B. I might need to make it a little bit smaller, so I can use the scale tool again to drop it in size, or I can pick it up from the corners here and I can just resize it so that it's sort of the right size and shape. Once I'm happy with its placement and its size, I hit save, and that will save. I hit save, and that will save that clip there. So now that I have the size right, I want to get that placement. So we said it was about 113, which is there. So I can just pick it up and try and get it in the right spot. It might need a little bit of jiggling depending on the actual clip itself. So in this case, I've had to lengthen or extend the clip out by using the side just to make it longer. So at about 113. It's a little bit of a fiddly process. So let's play now and see what happens.
To be or not to be.
Beautiful. All right, so now I've got my first image in. So over here, I want to add in a second image of another bee. So this is where my video 3 layer comes in. And I can see I want the second bee to appear at around 322. So I'm going to pick it up from my media library, drag and drop it onto my pasteboard, try and get it onto 322 or as close to that as possible. So there's 321. And then you can see again, it's overlaid on top of me and my B. So it's in the wrong place and it's the wrong size. So again, I need to modify that. So by double clicking inside, I go to the transform tool, use the scale option just to resize the B to a better size, and then I can pick it up, drag and drop it in its right spot. And once I'm happy, I hit save, and I just edit them all so they're the same length, and let's just play.
To be or not to be? That is the question.
And that's it. And that's how I import images into my WeVideo film. I can finish it off by just adding some text using the text tool as an outro. Save. And once I'm finished and I'm happy with my film, I click finish. I give it a title, set HD, make sure I export it to Google Drive and export. And once it's done, I'll be able to find it in my Google Drive where I can download it. So I can find it in my Google Drive where I can left click and download.